Now at 6, escape from Hawaii.
Thank God we had our baggage packed the night before so we could just get out.
A local family flees the deadly wildfires, while our community steps up to help.
Plus, how to save downtown Portland.
We're behind the ball right now, and we need to catch up.
How Oregon's governor is personally trying to throw a lifeline to a city struggling with crime, drugs, homelessness, and in need of solutions.
Also, he's at 4 arrests and well on his way to number 5. Police say a serial window smasher is out and causing trouble again.
And we begin with breaking news and the catastrophic destruction on the Hawaiian island of Maui as the state's governor confirms 53 people have now been killed in wildfires, with that number, he says, expected to grow. More than 1,000 structures, including most of the historic town of Lahaina, have now been destroyed. The images for so many hard to watch, and the scale of this loss tough to swallow. Good evening, everyone. I'm David Molko.
And I'm Laurel Porter. But amidst all of it, there are glimmers of both hope and resilience. Our Tim Gordon joins us now with the stories of Oregonians who escaped the fires and the local efforts to help. Tim, the pictures are almost beyond description.
Yeah, they really are. Laurel, David, what a horrible situation on the ground in Maui. And people here certainly do want to help. Today, we talked with local folks who have escaped the worst of the wildfires and are still on the island, and those who have made it home to Portland.
The fire in Lahaina started first, so we were thinking we were in the clear, and then just boom, out of nowhere.
Jessica Miller is describing the midnight order they got to evacuate from her aunt's home in Kihei, about 20 miles south of Lahaina, as the fires began to rage. After landing at PDX late Wednesday night, she says it was a scary, chaotic time.
Thank God we had our baggage packed the night before so we could just get out.
The fires on Maui are causing heavy hearts around the world, with the death toll climbing on an island so full of beauty and tradition, now being decimated by wildfire.
What was really sad is we were just in Lahaina, I think a day or two before the fires, and I don't know what's left. And there's so much history there, and that's heartbreaking.
Heartbreaking indeed. And our community is stepping up to help. The Jewish Federation of Greater Portland joining its national effort to raise donations to help Hawaiians survive and eventually reset. Bob Horenstein says, unfortunately, we know something about devastating wildfires in the Pacific Northwest.
And so hopefully we can empathize with the people in Maui and the Big Island, and we can be supportive of what their needs are. I mean, it's really important that we respond just from a humanitarian point of view.
Horenstein also told me about a Jewish community leader on Maui vacationing with his family.
It's really devastating. This is a place, this really is a piece of paradise.
So I visited on Zoom with Rabbi David Kosek of Congregation Neva Shalom. He and his family are safe at a condo in Kihei. This beautiful sunset picture he sent me is enhanced by the smoky skies that are burning their eyes. They are trying to book a flight to end their visit early. In the meantime, they are witnessing locals come together in extremely trying times.
And that gives us real sense of the aloha spirit of camaraderie and resilience, and that people are in it together, which is certainly helping everyone right now.
Yeah, the aloha spirit. Tim, it's wonderful to see folks here answering this call. How are the efforts going so far?
Right. Well, the Jewish Federation of Greater Portland told me they've raised $4,000 very quickly with mostly small donations, and they expect that to grow quickly. And the rabbi that we spoke with, who's over there right now with his family, he actually reached out to a synagogue there in Maui. And within 15 minutes, they figured out a way to get some direct aid going to that congregation so they can help their community just that quick. So it's good to see.
Wonderful. Thank you, Tim. I know a lot of folks right now at home want to help too, and we want to give you some ways to do that. If you would like to help those affected by the fires in Hawaii, please consider donating to Northwest Response and the American Red Cross. Disaster workers with the American Red Cross are on the ground right now. They're opening shelters. They're providing evacuees with a safe place to stay.
All about that human connection. There are several ways to donate. You can use your phone and text the word FIRE to the number on your screen. You can also visit KGW.com. We have more details there on how to help. Another option, you can donate at any U.S. bank location in Oregon and Washington. Let's get to other headlines this evening. Oregon's governor is revoking some of the commuted sentences that were approved by former Governor Kate Brown. According to the Oregonian, Tina Kotek is now asking district attorneys from around the state if there are other cases where commutations should be revoked. Now, back in 2021, then Governor Brown commuted the sentences of 41 people after they helped fight wildfires. There has been substantial criticism surrounding some of those cases. One of the prisoners, Jesse Calhoun, is reportedly linked to the deaths of 4 women in the Portland area, though he has not been charged. Governor Kotek has since revoked Calhoun's commutation and the sentences of 4 other men who violated conditions of their release.
Police arrested a juvenile this afternoon in a shooting and car chase in Vancouver. This was on Northeast 111th Street by 4th Plain. Clark County deputies say when they showed up, they found a juvenile had been shot. Then a possible suspect got into a stolen vehicle and tried to escape, but they crashed into several cars and then tried to run away. After a search, eventually the suspect gave himself up and was taken into custody. Several others at the home where this all started were also detained. The shooting victim's condition is unknown.
A man described as a serial vandal is out and allegedly causing trouble again in Gresham. Police are looking for 25-year-old Garrett Fine. He was recorded on surveillance video Tuesday morning, damaging a couple of businesses, including a salon where he shattered 3 windows. Fine has already been arrested 4 times recently for vandalism just like this. In the most recent case, he was released because there was no public defender available to represent him. If you see Fine, you're asked to call Gresham Police.
Also in Gresham, a gas leak shut down traffic today. This was on Northeast Halsey by 170th. A backhoe was digging a hole when it hit the gas line. However, it does not appear the leak forced any evacuation.
That's good news there. And evacuation orders around a wildfire in Lynn County are now growing. The wildfire is burning just east of Sweet Home. Level 2 B-set orders were already in place in the immediate area of that fire, but now there are also new Level 1 B-ready orders surrounding the Level 2s. The Lynn County Sheriff's Office website has those details. So far, the fire has burned about 165 acres. Extra firefighting crews are on the way, including a task force from Multnomah County. Fire containment now up to 5%.
And today was the coolest day that we are going to see in the next 7 days. Many of us hit those upper 70s, including Scappoose. Also for Hillsborough, 79 degrees for Portland. Some areas did hit 90 as we're looking at down in Medford. Now, in terms of our temperature outlook for the next few days, there is potential for us to see record-breaking temperatures, more specifically as we're looking at Tuesday. We're expected to see 103 degrees. But not just that, we're also tracking a fire weather watch along the I-5 corridor from Portland down into Eugene. This will kick off on Saturday afternoon and will last until Monday evening.
Thank you, Daisy. We'll see you a little bit later on. Let's take a live look now over downtown Portland from our Wells Fargo sky camera. It is just a beautiful sunny day out there, but the city's future hasn't always looked all that bright recently. Downtown in particular is dealing with issues like crime, homelessness, and drug use. But now Governor Kotek is launching a new effort to try to revitalize the city. Our Mike Benner joins us from Southwest Portland with this new plan. Mike?
Yeah, Laurel, the governor is launching a task force, and she's actually going to co-chair it. She says that downtown Portland has faced an onslaught of challenges, and it's time to bring together diverse voices to come up with concrete and equitable solutions. And I can tell you that stakeholders are choosing to be optimistic about this. Stephen Lynn has owned Under You for Men in downtown Portland for about 18 years. He's enjoyed it immensely, but he'll admit it hasn't always been a walk in the park, especially in recent years. Lynn points to fentanyl issues and vandalism. In fact, he dealt with that just this week.
All of our flags up in front of the store were all just ripped off. And just yesterday morning, the Mercantile had their windows broken out again.
And it's not going unnoticed. This week, Governor Tina Kotek announced she's standing up the Portland Central City Task Force to identify and address challenges in the downtown core. The task force will focus on clean streets, crime and vandalism, and homelessness, among other things.
I'm appreciative of it. I think shining the light on it here, because we're the center of commerce for the city, for the state, I think makes a big difference statewide.
We're behind the ball right now, and we need to catch up.
Andrew Hone is the president and CEO of the Portland Metro Chamber of Commerce. According to numbers provided by the chamber, foot traffic in downtown Portland has increased in each of the last 2 months when compared to the same time last year. But Hone is hopeful that the governor's new task force will bring even more people downtown.
There's no progress, fine. We'll find out really quickly. But I think when you have the state's leaders showing up in a very real way, working with the mayor, working with business, and cutting through the noise, I think we'll see some serious results.
Echoing that sentiment of all people is one of Kotek's challengers for head of the state. Betsy Johnson is beyond impressed that Governor Kotek is taking a proactive approach to making downtown Portland better. Johnson believes the governor's personal involvement will lead to practical, implemental, and immediate solutions. But she does have one concern.
This is a huge committee, and my only thought about it is that I hope as the governor forms up the big committee and then all of the subsets, that she gets the voices of real business people.
People like Stephen Lynn, who actually emailed the governor to volunteer his services on the task force. No word yet on if the governor will take him up on his offer. But regardless, Lynn is throwing his support behind the task force. He hopes whatever comes from it helps keep his business anchored at Southwest Park in Washington for another 18 years.
Wouldn't that be great? Yeah. So I'm optimistic, right? That's why we're still here.
While it's unclear who exactly will sit on this task force, we can tell you they plan to meet once a month from August to October. The first meeting slated for August 22nd, and then the plan is to push forward some recommendations sometime in December. It's worth noting I did reach out to the governor's office, and a spokesperson tells me they plan to have a portion of these meetings open to the public. Back to you.
And I know people will be watching for solutions and action. Thank you, Mike. Coming up on the story, the dwindling numbers of volunteers willing to help fight fires. It turns out in Oregon, 94% of all departments use volunteers in some capacity. Let's bring in investigative reporter Kylie Boshi with a preview of the struggle and how some folks are trying to fix it. Kyle.
And David, we spent some time in rural Tillamook County to see how one department is dealing with the issue. Roughly 2/3 of the staff at Nestucca Rural Fire Protection District are volunteers. They train for fires, water rescues, crashes, really whatever comes their way. But finding people willing to help out is becoming more and more difficult. The number of volunteers has dropped statewide.
Do you worry about the future at all, as far as getting enough people to answer the call?
Yes, all the time. My biggest concern is that there's going to be some day that I have to make that decision that we got to let that call go. And that worries me.
Really, the biggest issue is many people just don't have the time to volunteer. They've got work and family to deal with, along with longer commutes. Plus, the time and training needed to become a firefighter have also increased. So coming up tonight on The Story, we'll introduce you to some of those volunteers and also explain how some states and local governments are trying new tactics to try and entice recruits to sign up.
Such an important conversation. Thank you, Kyle.